Hello everyone, welcome back to Hank's Movie Ranks. Today, I'm going to be going over what my current predictions are for the 2026 Best Picture lineup of 10. Going all the way from more of the ranking style today, going to be looking at some more prediction, future looking here. And yeah, like I said, I've been doing a lot of the rankings for past lineups and stuff recently. I thought I'd switch it up a little bit today and give my predictions for, as of right now, what I think will be getting nominated in January for Best Picture, to the best of my knowledge from what we've heard on a lot of these top contender movies that have been coming out this year. So this video is going to be a little more just kind of me rambling, not really set and segmented as much. So, but with all that being said, I'm just going to jump right in here. I'm going to start off with some of the movies that I have right now as honorable mentions, as kind of just right outside that 10, where if they were to get nominated, I could totally see that happening. It wouldn't be all that surprising, but right now I just don't have them in. We'll start that off with Luca Guadagnino's newest movie, After the Hunt. Of course, he had two movies last year that were very popular, and a lot of people had this in the 10 originally, earlier in the year, thinking that he kind of break through finally and get this nomination this year. And one thing that's factoring in is as I'm filming this, it's just after the big film festivals for the fall have started. The Venice and Telluride film festivals, as well as the Toronto and New York film festivals. And a lot of these movies have gotten their first kind of looks by audiences there. And because of those early reactions from those, that's why I don't have After the Hunt in. It's seemingly very divisive. Not a lot of people have given it those top end, like 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5 ranks. It's been a lot more mixed and in the middle. So it's sounding like this one might not really have the juice to get in. So despite the fact that it has a lot of great actors in it, Julia Roberts, Andrew Garfield, and a couple others. But yeah, so I mean, it has some pieces that people thought, but it turns out it's probably not much of a contender. I still have it listed here in the honorable mentions just because Amazon MGM's production studio, this is kind of the only one that it seems right now they have to push and promote for awards. So I still have it here in the honorable mentions, but I don't really think it's gonna get a whole lot here. Next up, I'm gonna go with a pair of contenders from Netflix. Netflix has had a great track record recently of getting at least one movie into Best Picture. So right now they don't really have a super strong top end contender. So I have a lot of different options for them listed here. So two of the ones I have here in the honorable mentions are going to be Frankenstein from Guillermo del Toro. Of course, he's a winner for Best Director and Best Picture back with The Shape of Water, and he's making his adaptation of Frankenstein. However, again, this is one that has debuted at some of the film festivals to some mixed reviews, so I don't think that Netflix is going to have this as their main film they're going to promote, so I have it lower in the honorable mentions here. And the other Netflix film that I only have the honorable mentions right now just because it hasn't premiered at any of the festivals, there really isn't a lot known about this one yet, and that's going to be A House of Dynamite. This is directed by Catherine Bigelow, who has won Best Director and Best Picture back with The Hurt Locker in 2009, and also been nominated for Zero Dark 30. And she's doing another kind of government war mix of a movie here with The House of Dynamite. I believe it has to do with like nuclear codes and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I sound a little confused on what it all might be about, but that's because there's still not a lot about this one that's out yet. It's starring Idris Elba, I believe. So yeah, that's why I have it in the honorable mentions, just because we don't know a ton about it, whereas some of the ones that I have in the 10 have either already come out or at least have been seen at these like festivals and are known to be pretty solid. So, but if this one is a really strong movie, this could become Netflix's #1 contender, and they could definitely push it into the 10. Also in the honorable mentions here, I have Avatar 3, Avatar Fire and Ash. I have it missing right now. The last two obviously have made Best Picture, but we saw with the second one, it got a lot less nominations than the original one did. And that's even with the second one coming out like 13 years after the first and still having the hype of like, oh, Avatar's back. This one only being 3 years later, and seeing the trend of the second one having less nominees than the first, I just don't think it's quite going to get in. But that being said, if it's just on par with those other Avatar films, obviously we've seen that they've been able to get in. So if some of the other contenders I have up higher kind of lose their momentum or are seen for the first time and aren't that good, it could find its way to sneak in and be in that lower half of the 10. The final two I have as honorable mentions are No Other Choice and Bugonia. These both premiered recently at the film festivals. No Other Choice was one that a lot of people didn't have on their list, but it came out at the festivals, and early reviews are great for it. It's directed by Park Chan-wook and is another Korean film, and his most recent films have been praised for critically. So this one is right on the cusp there that it could definitely get in, and I wouldn't be surprised. I just have it right outside right now. And then Bugonia is Yorgos Lanthimos, who directed Poor Things, so recently has gotten into a Best Picture nomination. It stars Emma Stone, who has recently won Best Actress and is one of the better actors out there right now. So it's had a little bit of a mixed review coming out, and that because of that, and then also the fact that the company that's producing it has one of the kind of top end contenders for this year. I have it just missing as of right now, but again, one that definitely could make it into the 10, and I would not be very shocked. Now that I've done the honorable mentions, I'm going to kind of go to the opposite end and do the movies that I think are for sure going to be getting in at this point in the year. Starting off with number one, the one that currently I think I would pick to win, and that's going to be Sinners. Sinners is the only one in the 10 I have that has already premiered like worldwide in theaters, not just in like film festivals and stuff, back in April when it came out, and kind of took the world by storm. As one of the highest grossing kind of original projects of recent memory. Ryan Coogler definitely is going to get nominated for director. And honestly, I would be shocked if Sinners has anything less than around like 10 nominations. Pretty much every technical category it has an opportunity to get in: screenplay, directing, picture. So it's definitely one of the top front runners right now, and are one of those ones where if you told me I had to pick one that's for sure getting in, I'm going to tell you it's Sinners, just because it's been seen by everyone and it's a huge contender already. So moving on to ones that I think are also going to be pretty guaranteed are Sentimental Value. The director here has been nominated for Best International Feature and Screenplay for his most recent film, and this one has been seen at some early film festivals and kind of won awards at those festivals, and people have been talking very highly of this one. A lot of good acting contenders in this movie, it sounds like. So this one's firmly up there in kind of the top 3 or 4. And then the most recent addition to this top end, number 3 right now, I have Hamnet. It's directed by Chloe Zhao, who has recently won Best Picture and Director for Nomadland about 5 years ago. And it stars Jessie Buckley and Paul Mescal, who have recently been nominated for other movies and acting. So it has all the pieces, and it debuted this past week at the festivals and has gotten great reviews recently. People are absolutely loving this one. If you look at it on Letterboxd, for example, the early ratings have mostly 5 stars for this movie. So it's seeming to be quite loved by pretty much everyone who's seen it so far, saying it's very emotional and that the actors are like shoo-ins for their spots. So it sounds like it definitely is going to be getting in later on in the year. Moving on to some other ones that haven't really been seen as much, but barring them going completely off the rails and not being anywhere near as good as they're expected to be, I think are pretty sure that they're going to get in. Starting off with Rental Family. This stars Brendan Fraser in his first movie, not his first movie, but one of his first couple movies post winning Best Actor a couple years ago. And the trailer for this one, it looks really strong. It looks like a very crowd-pleasing and emotional movie with a lot of good pieces in it, and most people have this one ranked really highly right now, so I'm going to echo that sentiment and have it ranked pretty high here. As well as Marty Supreme. This is directed by Josh Safdie, one of the two Safdie brothers, of course, and stars Timmy Chalamet, who has been kind of killing it recently in all his roles, got nominated last year, and I would be shocked if he's not nominated for Best Actor once again this year for this role. This is also A24's biggest contender, so it definitely has all the pieces. This is just the only reason to maybe be skeptical would be that this one has not premiered anywhere yet. There's only really been the one trailer, but off the trailer, it looks like it'll be a really good time, really well made. And A24 has also had a pretty good record of getting their films nominated recently, so with that being their biggest contender, I definitely think Marty Supreme will be getting in, barring it being just a complete flop when it comes out later. And then also, along those lines, is going to be Wicked for Good, the sequel to, of course, Wicked from last year. Wicked, the first one, got nominated for a lot of different awards. So if this one's just as good or even better finishing off the story, this one's for sure going to get in as well. It also has the aspect of there are going to be new original songs in the sequel that weren't in the original musical. Of course, the first movie couldn't get any nominations in song because all the songs were from the musical, none of them were original. But now there are going to be even more opportunities to get nominations for this movie, and probably wins as well with the original song category. So definitely think this one, again, there's not a lot known about this one other than the trailer. But considering it's coming off an immediate sequel to a Best Picture nominee from just last year, I would be shocked if it doesn't get in, barring it being just a complete flop, once again, like I said, with some of these other ones. Up next, I have kind of my last one that I feel really confident about being in the 10. I have Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. The only thing that throws me off is the fact that it's titled Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere, not just Deliver Me From Nowhere, but that's just a small gripe. The early reviews of this one from film festivals is that it's pretty solid. I mean, it's kind of got just average reviews, or like, not average, but like just good reviews, not like anything great. But as we've seen with the Oscars, musical biopic, that's all you really need. You kind of just need to have solid reviews, good reviews, and you'll get in. They really love this genre of film and doing it about Bruce Springsteen, and it sounds like this one's a little more kind of grounded in the emotional aspects from early reviews. So if they kind of take that music biopic formula and take some elements of it and enhance it, it definitely will get in, especially with Jeremy Allen White, who obviously has had a lot of success on The Bear, and Jeremy Strong, one of my favorite actors because of his role in Succession. They're the two main actors in this one, so I think they'll both probably get nominated, both the Jeremys, for this movie. So having a strong push of actors will probably propel it to find its way into Best Picture. Now, these final three spots, these are the ones that I have a little more questions about. The one I'm the most confident in at number 8, I have It Was Just an Accident. I don't know a whole lot about the plot of this one. I haven't looked into it a whole ton, but what I do know is at the Cannes Film Festival a couple of months ago, it won the award for Best Directing and won the Palme d'Or, and that award has had really high correlation from whatever movie wins that award at the Cannes Film Festival to then getting nominated for Best Picture in its given year. As well as I said, it won the Best Director award there. Jafar Panahi, I believe is how his name is pronounced. I hope I didn't butcher that, but he won the award for that, and he is definitely in the running to be a director nominee at the Oscars as well. And especially since the expansion to 10 nominees, it's very rare for someone to get nominated for director and then that movie to also not make it in to Best Picture. So considering he has very strong odds to get in for directing, I definitely think this is one that can make it into Best Picture as well. Now, these final two spots are the ones I am the most wishy-washy on, and I could definitely see them getting flipped out with something like No Other Choice or Bugonia or House of Dynamite, as I mentioned earlier. The first of them being One Battle After Another. This is Paul Thomas Anderson's upcoming film starring Leonardo DiCaprio. So, I mean, you hear those two names, they've had a lot of awards, caliber stuff in the past. So, them combining could definitely carry this one up a bit. The only thing is, it seems like it had a really, really big budget, and I don't know how well it'll actually perform at the box office. We'll see. So if it ends up being kind of like a flop financially, that can hurt awards contention, even if it is good, just because it gets perceived as this like flop of a film for the company. And I believe it's Warner Brothers producing this one, and they already have Sinners as a top contender for Best Picture wins, so they might focus their kind of awards push towards Sinners and leave One Battle After Another in the dust if something like that were to happen. So, but right now I have it at number 9 just because some of the big names that are behind it, and it could definitely get in off of that, and if as long as it's a strong film. And I think this one has a bit lesser of people who have already seen it, but it's, I think, gotten like good reviews, nothing like spectacular, but nothing like horrible. So it definitely has a strong opportunity to get in. But like I said, I'm a little more so-so on that compared to the other ones I mentioned, and some of those ones I had in the honorable mentions could definitely replace it, depending on how it's seen. And my final one here is the one I'm right now the least confident about, and that is Jay Kelly. Jay Kelly, before last week, is the one I had in third place because it stars George Clooney, Adam Sandler, and Laura Dern. Laura Dern and George Clooney have won awards before for Oscars. Adam Sandler hasn't, but he's obviously a beloved actor, and people have wanted to see him get in, nominated, and win for serious roles in the past a lot, and so people are really gunning to do that. So if he has a great role in this, he absolutely could. It's directed by Noah Baumbach, who has Marriage Story that got nominated and has been recognized by the Academy before. So it has all the strong pieces, and it was looking to be Netflix's number 1 contender, but it debuted this past week at some of the film festivals, and the reviews are not very good, to be completely honest. They're very, very average. If you look at it on Letterboxd, again, I'll reference them for example, the average review is right around a 3-star, so just kind of right in the middle, which is very weak for Best Picture contenders. So it definitely is faltering. That is no longer in that top range and like possible winning condition. It's definitely in a lower half nominee, but right now I still do have it at 10, mostly because of the Netflix thing. Netflix, like I said, has done great at getting at least one movie in the past couple years, and we've also seen them get movies that have even worse reviews than Jay Kelly in Emilia Perez, as recently as last year. So if this one still seems like it's just not like the strongest movie, but it still has likable components, great actors, of course. So I could definitely see Netflix still pushing this one to get it in as their nominee. And like I said, right now, a lot of their other ones, they have a ton of movies, but a lot of them have been kind of seen as lower tier contenders. As I mentioned, Frankenstein had some kind of mixed reviews. So I think the only one that could really push it out as Netflix's number 1 contender would be A House of Dynamite, as I mentioned earlier, but we just don't really know much about that film yet either. So I still think off the star power that's behind the camera and on the screen for Jay Kelly, and of course having the backing from Netflix, I still have it in as my number 10 right now. I don't feel great about that considering the reviews have been very bad. Obviously, I haven't seen any of these movies yet other than Sinners, so that's the fun of the predictions of it, kind of going off this without really knowing a whole lot about them. But yeah, if the reviews are to be believed, it's definitely a lower tier contender. But like I said, because of the pieces it has, I still have it sneaking in as my number 10 right now. So to review, I have my current 10 that I'm predicting for the nomination in January to be the Best Picture 10 of 2026. I have Sinners, Sentimental Value, Hamnet, Rental Family, Marty Supreme, Wicked for Good, Deliver Me from Nowhere, It Was Just an Accident, One Battle After Another, and Jay Kelly. As I mentioned, it's very early, a couple months away, obviously, from the nominees happening, and the only movie that I even mentioned here that has come out in full release in theaters is Sinners. So a whole lot can change, a whole lot can fluctuate based on what happens in the coming months. But as of right now, those are the 10 I have, as well as some other honorable mentions I mentioned earlier that I think are right on the cusp. And yeah, I'm very excited to continue following the Oscar season and see what gets nominated at the other awards shows, and then finally for the Oscar. But yeah, those are my 10 as of right now. Thank you guys for watching. If you want more content like this, I have stuff on the channel, a lot more ranking videos on the channel as of right now. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.